welcome to Viewpoint From Overseas. I'm your host Faraz Darvesh. Yes, all of us are talking about Muslim ban. Now the bigger question is whether it is a Muslim ban or not. This is something we can argue upon. So we will go into the details to figure this out, whether this is really a Muslim ban or not. Secondly, as all of us are hearing the recent development that federal judge of Washington State has put temporary hold on travel ban from 7 Muslim countries. Secondly, we will go into the topic of Pakistan, where Pakistani state has decided to put Hafiz Saeed under house arrest. And not just Hafiz Saeed, many other a few other folks who were pretty much controversial have gone under a house arrest in Pakistan. So we will see whether this new development has anything to do with between India and Pakistan relation, or whether Pakistan has taken all of these action to please Mr. Trump. I have with me Dr. Misbah Azam Sahib, and I have with me Cemendtaur. Both of you, thank you so much. Now the bigger question is whether this is a Muslim ban or not. In my opinion, I just don't find it a Muslim ban because there are only 7 countries involved. Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Malaysia, Indonesia, Turkey are not involved. So I mean, you can't really say it a Muslim ban based on my opinion. But I would like to hear from both of you whether it should be considered as Muslim ban or not. Ali.
No, it is definitely not a Muslim ban, because a Muslim ban would say it is very hard to say that Muslims cannot, enter this country. So obviously nothing like that can happen. But if
Muslims are part of America,
if it was a ban that would say anybody from these so many countries, which are all if it were that there was a ban, then from all the Muslim majority countries, then obviously you could say that it's a Muslim ban. But definitely it's not a Muslim ban. But at the same time, the 7 countries that are placed on the ban, which is at this point has been challenged by this federal judge, those countries are definitely Muslim majority countries. So the argument is that the country which is at war, or there is some political instability, that people from that country are a threat. But if that is the case, then definitely these 7 countries are not the only countries in the world where you have political instability. You have many other countries.
Well, Iran does not have a political instability.
Definitely. Iran is far away from any political instability, so that argument even fails there. So that's why many people think that it is a Muslim ban, a smaller scale Muslim ban, but nevertheless it is a Muslim ban.
But is it really true? There are reports that the Christians from Syria are allowed to come into US, but if you're a Muslim from Syria, then you can't find refuge in US.
Yeah, so for us, you have to understand that there are 2 parts to it. If you are a citizen, obviously then everything is fine. If you are
citizen of what?
Citizen of the US.
Okay.
If you are dual national, then there can be trouble. If you are a green card holder, which means that you are still traveling on the passport of your original country, then it has to be decided on it.
So you don't think this is a Muslim ban, Dr. Saab?
First of all, it is a Muslim ban or not, I don't know, but according to the ORC CNN poll which just came today, 73% Americans believe it is a Muslim ban.
Well, they could believe whatever they want.
No, this is a public opinion.
Well, this is a perception. I'm not talking about perception, I'm talking about reality.
Perception is the reality. See, whatever is the perception, that is the reality. If there is a perception created against any particular group in Germany, which is called as Semites, then everybody started believing that. And then it was a Holocaust they had to go through. So perception is reality. But let me say, it is a Muslim ban. I mean, but the thing is that, saying that why it is not all the country, it is just not possible to all the country. Mr. Trump has his business interest in some country. Some countries are in a war with Afghanistan, and if it will be successful this time, it will grow slowly. If nothing would happen, if there is no noise against it.
Let me put it this way. Muslim countries Saudi Arabia and UAE are endorsing the point that this is not a Muslim ban, and they are actually endorsing this ban. Both Saudi and UAE.
What Saudi Arabia say?
Well, they are Muslim countries.
See, I should not worry about what American people believe, but I should care about Saudi, what Saudi believe. See, Saudi Arab and these UAE countries, they have their special interest here. I mean, Mr. Trump, President Trump talked to them before putting these bans and all. You know, see, the thing is that
what I'm saying is, Muslim countries do not take it. Some of the Muslim countries do not take it as Muslim ban.
Forget about that. Whatever he's saying in his campaign, whatever his closest allies are saying in his campaign, they were all saying the same thing. They want to ban Muslim. Go listen to on Fox News what Rudy Giuliani say. Rudy Giuliani say that Mr. President called him and asked him how he can put ban on the Muslims getting into
this was pre-election.
That part I don't remember because I heard just a clip of that.
Okay.
So the thing is that it was initiated as 7-country ban, which has nothing to do with terrorism. So far there is no terrorism, although
there is a terrorism in Syria, there is a terrorism in Iraq. We have ISIS, a heavy presence of ISIS in Iraq and Syria.
But not in US. None of those citizens ever did in US, right? I mean, that is the thing.
Okay, so you are saying the citizens of these countries, Iran, Iraq, Syria, all those 7 countries, the citizens of those countries have not done any attacks on the US soil. So all the 9/11 hijackers are from Saudi.
Saudi Arabia. But Saudi Arabia was not put.
How come Saudi Arabia is not on the list?
Because that is their personal interests. You know, Saudi Arabia is a rich country. They have a personal business interest with Mr. President's empire.
So Ali, let me ask you this: why is this?
UAE, so they cannot.
Out of 19 9/11 hijackers, 15 were from Saudi, 2 from UAE, 1 from Lebanon and 1 from Egypt. So basically majority of 19 out of 15 hijackers of 9/11 were Saudi citizens. Osama bin Laden was a Saudi. How come there is no ban on Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, so first of all, these people did not come directly from Saudi Arabia. So they were going through other countries, and more noticeably, they were going through Afghanistan. That's where many people, went through. So Saudi Arabia, yes, it has all these problems and stuff, but it is also a very, dictatorship kind of government there, and therefore it's very hard to have these kind of elements, surfacing over there. So what I'm saying is that,
you were saying the ideology. What we say, the Salafi ideology originates from Saudi Arabia. That's the ideology, Al-Qaeda to ISIS to Boko Haram to Al-Shabaab, they all follow the same ideology. And you're saying there is no threat from Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, so no, I'm not saying that there is no threat from Saudi Arabia. What I'm saying is that it is the way they have controlled their people. It's very hard for somebody to come out from there and do some kind of.
Okay, so you're saying basically they promote the ideology, but then they control their airports very well.
Well, because if suppose that this ideology would be out of control, in Saudi Arabia, the monarchy of Saudi Arabia would be in danger. They would be the first.
Well, they are in danger.
Most definitely. They are, but nobody is overthrowing them.
But they still, okay, we can have this discussion at some other point, but you are saying that although Saudi Arabia promotes that ideology that gives birth to Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda, ISIS and all those groups, but they control their airports and their security very well, therefore there is no threat of hijackers or any suicide bombers or any attackers coming from that country or coming from Saudi Arabia.
Directly, that is not a threat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, actually, that could be one reason, but the thing is that this is the initial phase. Even the president's spokespersons, they say it very clearly. Over the time, they may add more countries. Okay. And if everything goes smooth, they would be adding more countries because his advisors,
Michael Flynn, Steve
Bannon, and that lady, what is her name?
So let me ask you this, Misbah. Will Pakistan be put under this ban?
Pakistan can be put easily under this ban. But
why so? Pakistan is an ally.
Well, so as Iraq is ally. Iraq is your government, obviously. I mean, the thing is that ally is nothing to do with it. Pakistan is the country, the definitions, they say that from where this terrorism can, although the most of the terrorism in US after 9/11 was not done by any foreigner. They were all Americans. They were all Americans, mostly.
Okay,
but, I mean, all of them are American, virtually. So the thing is, issue is not that here, that how you go by it, but his advisors like.
So let me ask you. Let's ask this. So you think Pakistan can be put under this ban?
Well, very
right.
easily.
And why so? Because this leads to my next topic. Why so?
Why so? Because Pakistan is, according to their definitions, Pakistan is the biggest candidate to have this type of ban.
How?
Because see, the thing is that they say that there is all these Al-Qaeda was there. There is all.
So was it in Saudi Arabia? So was it in UAE? So was it in Lebanon? So was it in Egypt?
But see, if there is some business interest of US.
Okay, so you're saying if US has heavy business interest in Pakistan, then there are least chances of putting Pakistan under this ban.
Right now, they need Pakistan because there is a war going on in Afghanistan.
Ali, how do you say this? Can this ban be extended?
Pakistan, they cannot extend it, but they can do it over the time.
Yeah. It can be extended, but you must understand the very basics of this ban. Why is this ban taking place? Why was it under consideration even when Obama was there? And the reason is simple. Modern democracies, modern Western democracies are feeling threatened by this Islamic terrorism. And this Islamic terrorism is not only because that Afghanistan was attacked or Iraq was attacked. There is something more sinister going on. There are people who believe that Islam has to overcome the whole world. There are people who seriously believe that.
And so you mean the groups like ISIS, Al-Qaeda? And
no, not only those groups, but many in the Muslim world. This dialogue has been going on for a long time. Yes, you don't subscribe to it, and I don't, and Misbah does not, but there are people who really believe it. They have been told that Islam is a complete way of life. It is not only about your spiritual things, but it is also about economics. It is also about governance.
Okay.
And therefore, you should...
No, but how could they even impose their ideology here in America? They are not in majority. Muslims are only 1%. 1% or even 10% cannot impose their ideology on 90% or 99% in this case.
No.
Why? If anyone believes or has an ideology he believes in, that where he wants to impose his way of life or his ideology on others, Muslims are only 1% of America.
Yeah. It does not matter how small a percentage is. It depends on how potent that percentage is in terms of being armed and what kind of support it gathers from a larger population. The fear is this: if you are not a Muslim, if you are a Muslim, you understand that not all Muslims are like this. They don't believe in any kind of political Islam. They don't believe that a government which is...
I'm Muslim. I believe in democracy. I don't believe in imposing my ideas on others.
That's exactly...
You're Muslim. You don't believe on imposing your ideas on others. So, the 1.5 billion plus Muslims don't believe, or the percent don't believe in imposing their ideology on others. The percentage of those people in that entire population of 1.5 billion plus Muslims is probably tiny 0.0001%.
Yeah, but think of it this way: that if you are not a Muslim, if you are an outsider, then you do not know what is going on in their heads. What is happening.
How hard is it to even find out? You have the entire intelligentsia to find out.
Yeah, and that's what the reports are. Secondly, even when 1.5 billion, according to your estimates, are not adhering to that Islamic governance ideology, but if they are docile, if they are pacifists, they don't have guns, then obviously the other people, the remaining people who want to have their say through some kind of power can take over.
Listen. Who are the biggest sufferers of groups like ISIS, Al Qaeda, and all these terrorist groups. Muslims, right? They are the biggest sufferers. Who has killed the most Al Qaeda and ISIS people in Iraq? Muslims are going. Iraqis are going and killing ISIS. Syrians, the Assad side, whether you like Assad or not, his government, which is a Muslim government, going and killing ISIS. In Pakistan, who is going and killing ISIS or the ISIS supporters or Al Qaeda or these extremists? Pakistani state, which itself is Muslim.
So in that case, you are in fact, you are defending the ban, which and the way you are defending it is that this is a fight that Muslims have to fight.
Absolutely, yes. No question about it. I fully agree.
This is not something. This is not what West has to fight. So these people who are taking refuge here, they should instead go back and fight those people.
Fight who?
ISIS or whoever they think is not representing Islam.
Poor children, poor women and children, innocent people who have no weapons, who have no training to fight ISIS. Yeah. They are not willing to blow themselves up like ISIS.
Yeah, well, these refugees do not only include women and children, but anyway, you can go ahead and
a lot of things Ali say I accept it. It's true that this is
no doubt. Muslims have to be in the forefront to fight ISIS, Al Qaeda, and all these Islamic extremist groups.
No, I agree. They
I shouldn't say Islamic extremist, Muslim extremist group. These people. I mean, obviously, it's an overbeaten argument that these people really have nothing to do with Islam. They follow a distorted ideology. And there is no question that Muslim states need to take the lead, to be in the forefront, to root out this extremism.
Yeah, see, but the thing is that you are missing the point here when you say that Muslim state. I mean, it is not black and white. The world is not black and white. And even that is saying too much that Western democracies are tired of these things, as if they don't know that suddenly something attacked on it. Even to this date, Western, quote-unquote, Western democracies are supporting these kind of people some places because these are less religious fanatics. They were more of war economies. They get the cheap people from there to do their thing. And we did talk about this NIA report, DIA report, which was declassified, which clearly says that we supported this principality in the Eastern Syria.
Let's go to the next topic. I need to wrap up here and go to the next topic. Federal judge of Washington State has put temporary hold on travel ban. How do you see this? How will this play?
Well, now President Trump's advisors, they are saying that they are going to court, they will fight it, and if they will win, they will win. If they lose, they lose. However, one thing I would say it again, I would just add it very quickly, that if this thing goes smooth, this travel ban goes smooth, you will see more and more and more bans. You will see that.
Okay, that's very scary news.
So what I see is that right after Trump came to power, he became president, there were one after another, there were these executive orders, and this juggernaut was really moving very fast. So this federal judge has put a halt to one, and in a way has shown this to the nation that no, Mr. President, you still have to obey by the Constitution, and you can be challenged and you can be stopped. Okay. So that means that in future, whatever executive orders they come, they can meet similar fate and they can be challenged too.
Okay, let me move to the next topic. Hafiz Saeed, a well-known Hafiz Saeed of Pakistan, has been the famous Hafiz Saeed of Pakistan, whom many Indian friends are always talking about and always arguing and angry about, has been put under house arrest. And according to Pakistan, the army spokesman of Pakistan, this was the best decision change of policy, the best decision to serve the interest of Pakistan. So I would like to hear from you. Is it really due to Indian pressure or really a Trump pressure, or is it really due to an internal pressure, internal growing pressure within Pakistan?
None of above. None of above. Okay. None of above. See, American pressure, Pakistan doesn't take too much. We saw it in Salala incident. They don't take that pressure so much. So just there are a lot of time when a nuclear bomb was explosion happening, that pressure they didn't take.
So why did they do it?
So they do it because of China's pressure. China is pulling back from there. China is saying we are tired. World is changing after President Trump's election. Things will be changing and we cannot support you anymore. You have to do something with them. Second thing is that I have yet to see what ISPR chief said, because he's just house arrested. But the thing is that later on they
what
were
about Masood
put on
Azhar?
ECL.
Masood Azhar.
That's true. We don't know where is Masood Azhar. Then second thing is that why not some FIR is cut against Mr. Hafiz Saeed. Nothing happened. So if these things will go this way, nobody is gonna believe it, and that's why India does not quite believe that whatever happened. They need.
Why not? I mean, why? I mean, isn't it a good gesture towards India?
See, it is very. See, I avoid saying that, but let me say that, and I will try to put it as easy word as possible. The way I see that, Pakistan's establishment's paranoia. What they do, they will not pull their hands away from these people as long as India would be threatening Pakistan to close the waters, threatening to put them isolation permanently.
Or Balochistan
and I am not saying they are doing right. I mean, a Pakistani establishment should leave it to the politicians and let them do the diplomacy and make inroads to the Afghan government and those kind of people.
But don't you think India should also refrain from sending people like Kulbhushan Yadav in Balochistan?
That's true. I was about to say that other side,
infiltrating in Balochistan, or creating instability in Balochistan. India should refrain from that.
And not
because
only
if
that,
Pakistan is giving positive signal, then there has to be a positive signal back from India. Right?
No, I agree. And a lot of the people who are anti-Pakistan, they get a very big state, kind of protocol inside India. One more point is, you see their intelligentsia, they constantly talking about closing Pakistan's water and
which does not send good messages.
This kind of thing. So
let me ask you this, Ali. Ali, how do you see this?
Both of that, but I don't support that establishment should support these people.
Which establishment? Pakistan establishment. Pakistan establishment should not be supporting any Hafiz Saeed type people. What you're saying, right? This is what you're saying, Ali.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they will. And
who is they?
The Pakistani establishment, the Pakistani army. They have, and they will do it. And it is because of how the reality is. The reality is that you have a smaller country, which is almost at war with a much bigger country. And the bigger country can really choke this small country, and it does not have much power, so it has to rely on non-state actors, everybody, that if something really heats up, then you have
heats up between India
and Pakistan.
Okay.
So
and how should India respond to
this? Should understand that if any kind of this gesture, this very aggressive stance towards Pakistan, it in a way it just aggravates the situation. It makes the Pakistani establishment understand the importance of these elements, which can be basically let loose on India.
No, I know what I'm saying is, so in a way you are saying that India should not be taking aggressive stand against Pakistan and try to solve the problem of Kashmir or any other dispute on a table, rather than sending Kulbhushan Yadav, or rather than creating instability in Pakistan, or rather than giving any signal that we will block Pakistan's water.
Yeah, I mean, now Punjab elections, Mr. Modi is just openly saying that we will close their water.
Absolutely right, Faraz, except that I do not understand who sent this guy,
Kulbhushan Yadav.
Yadav, or
Well, there is no doubt
I don't know.
Okay, there is no doubt that the instability in Balochistan has been created by India, or India is supporting it.
I don't agree with that. But anyways, I completely agree with the principal stand, which is that if the democratic government of India is friendly with the democratic government of Pakistan, it is in a way reducing the Pakistani military's role in the whole thing, and in effect that would also be reducing the elements, these jihadi elements, their importance in the whole scene.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe that India is not involved in Balochistan. I mean, they were paying money to do these demonstrations all over the world and taking the refugees from the refugee center.
Right. What I'm saying, I think, I don't want to get into that. We can have a separate show on that topic.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is, do you agree with Ali's opinion that India should be taking soft stand on Pakistan rather than being so aggressive or be in a threatening tone and say that we will block Pakistan's water, or we will we will provide independence to Balochistan and so on and so forth. What do you think?
The thing is that there was a time when India had this security paranoia that East Pakistan will be there, so Pakistan will be able to.
That has been cut off now.
Yeah, so they cut. So what they did, they did the infiltration inside Bangladesh, East Pakistan, and then they created this insurgency there. And then eventually they remove it. And then they said that we had to go to do the war there because there is a problem and there is a... Let me finish. Yeah, please, let me finish this thing. Pakistan in Kashmir is a very similar situation. Pakistan has a moral high ground on a same rhetoric which India used in Bangladesh. That there is an Indian army there, they are doing...
Okay, so humanitarian basis.
Yeah, second thing is that
so Pakistan uses a humanitarian card to infiltrate into Kashmir.
I am saying Pakistan can do because India did and justified it, right? Then second thing is that Pakistan's security paranoia is also there. Now India is openly saying we can close your waters.
Right, which is not a good signal. Nothing, Ali, you already said that if there is an aggressive stand against Pakistan from India, then Pakistan establishment gets strengthened, and then all these non-state actors becomes strengthened, right, in Pakistan?
Yeah, so the new part of the dialogue is that the democratic government in Pakistan does not really represent Pakistan. This is what's going on in India. And therefore, we should not...
Oh, this is the belief in India.
Yeah, and this is what your friends from Canada have been feeding to the...
Oh, you think Tariq Fatah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So what is happening is that now...
do they really take Tariq Fatah serious?
Well, that's what it looks like. So anyway,
I hope they question him.
Some parts.
Okay. And the thing, a lot of things happen in Pakistan which give that kind of signal. Whereas it is not totally true, it gives that kind of impression that army behind the scenes has a very big, influence in everything that goes on.
We can argue over this.
So what I'm saying is that when India does not talk to the democratic government in Pakistan, it further weakens the democracy in Pakistan. So in a way, it is hurting Pakistan's
so let me go back to the question number one. You think President Trump's Muslim ban has nothing to do with putting Hafiz Saeed under house arrest?
Well, I think that people now see that there could be worse things coming to Pakistan, and therefore it's better to behave and appear.
We take a preemptive approach.
Right. I think that's what's happening.
Okay.
Overall.
Which is good for Pakistan, right?
Yeah.
We want modern Pakistan. We want progressive Pakistan. Okay. In the end, audience, we will go towards the end, and I will take an opinion from Ali. Protests which happened last week all across US airports against the 7 Muslim country ban. Now, praying at the airport, how do you find it? Does it send the positive message, or does it not send the positive message?
Yeah, unfortunately, it is not a very good thing to do by the Muslim protesters to pray publicly at those places, at these protests, whereas the people who were gathered around them were sympathetic to their cause and they wanted to do something to them. They were kind. But at the same time, you must understand that, yes, this system is very flexible, this is very generous, but there are, if other communities are not doing it, you should not do that either. You should not be taking up public space and praying in public. Don't do it. It does not give a positive signal to the rest of the country.
The question could be that this is freedom of religion.
Definitely, and there are ways to exercise your freedom of
Does it stand up? Does it fuel Trump's narrative?
I think it does. It does in a way, because we saw what other people were tweeting. They were saying that this is what's it's becoming. This is what we see in third world, where you have zero regard for public space. If it is going to bother people who are passing in this area, which is a public area, just because you think that it's more important for you to please the God. So, and these people are basically doing exactly that. They are not regarding this as a public space which they cannot just occupy and start praying in public like that. So definitely it is not a very good thing to do, and they should...
So you're saying it fuels Trump's narrative and his supporters will not
take
it
I'm not sure if it fuels that narrative, but it definitely makes a lot of people think that...
No, the other argument that I saw on Twitter, a lot of people were arguing, can Christians do that in Muslim countries?
Oh, definitely not. Muslim countries are very intolerant. So yes.
Well, no, in Pakistan, the Hindus pray, but not at the airport.
No.
But Christians pray, but probably not at the airport. So, but that was the argument that I saw on the Twitter. Can Christians do that in Muslim countries?
Yeah. So these Western democracies are definitely by far more tolerant than, not only we're not talking about even that, but we've been talking about India. And other places which have a strong democratic institutions.
I come from Pakistan. I have seen Christians as part of the society. Obviously, there are cases where Christians are put down. There's discrimination against Christians, Hindus, and even within Muslim community to Ahmadis. Well, I mean, it's argumentative. You could argue both ways whether Ahmadis are Muslim or not. But against Shias, against other communities in Pakistan. But my point becomes is, in the US, I as a Muslim have never felt discrimination, at least openly. But now I feel there is a heavy amount of fear inside me that now I'm not as safe as I used to be.
And you should really fear that, and especially where Muslims are in a very small minority. We are seeing masjids being put on fire. So
one short comment that I do agree that we should, as a Muslim, I should say that we should not create the public identity as a Muslim. Fine, if I'm Muslim and people know it, if I want to pray, I go inside and pray, no problem. We should be more American,
But if there is a protest happening, would you go and pray at the protest?
Well, I may not, really. I mean, if I am there in the protest, one day I was there, but I didn't see that happening. But if I see it, I would not. I mean, because I would be...
Could it be more provocative? Could this be provocative against those who are already against Muslim?
Well, it's not provocative, but problem is that they can easily get provoked because they can have another card in their hand to
that our airports are becoming prayer houses.
I personally believe they were not forcing anybody to come and join them or anything.
If I were there and people were doing that, I would stop them. I would say, don't do it. Yes, this system is very generous, but don't test the generosity of people. Just respect.
America has changed. And it's continuously changing.
Not even because America has changed. I mean, are you seeing other communities doing this, taking up public space and just praying in public?
See, this is the thing where I have problem. You are constantly saying taking the public space and praying. You are not talking about those Hindu students when they come sit with you with a cow droppings on their faces, because it is their religious thing. Nobody tells them not to do it. Because it is their religion, Now one Muslim, if stand and pray, we will have problem. Although I told you that personally, I say when I had a chat with when I had the opportunity to ask question to Mr. Mehdi Hassan, I asked the same question to him, and he said that halfway he agreed with me, and I asked the same question, that why should, when there is a party, why should I just collect the people and start praying? I mean, fine, if I want to pray, I go inside and pray. I sit in car. Everywhere I can pray. But why I have to do that in a public display and create our separate identity as Muslim? Let's be American, and obviously Muslim is our personal thing.
Ali.
Yeah, no, okay. I think that as we see in Muslim countries, that, for example, fire exits, people are praying right there.
Less separate argument.
Yeah, this is the argument. This is why it is important to respect the public space, because there are other peoples whose life you are putting in jeopardy.
Watching Viewpoint From Overseas. See you next week.